podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Coming up, we've finished the second full round of Major League Rugby, and the opening round of the Pacific Four Series is in the books. How did our Eagles fare, and what ignominious record did the Free Jacks set on Saturday? Stick around to find out. This is the Maul Street Journal. Hello and welcome to the Maul Street Journal, the podcast that brings you all the latest news and reviews for all things American rugby. We are part of the Global Gainline Network and can be found on all your usual platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. So if you haven't already, give us a like or a subscribe, tell a couple of friends about us, or if you want to be, really helpful, send us front row seats to a Spurs playoff game. How good would it be to see Wemby up close and in person? Kolya, have you been there yet?
I have. And it is
I was going to say, I know he's going to, and I know because he's a soccer guy. I'm so stoked. Tell us, Kolya.
Well, Wemby is basketball.
Oh, duh. Jesus. I was thinking Tottenham. No, you're right. Sorry. I just also heard that the Tottenham Hotspur did very badly. And I thought that was very funny.
The Spurs
the Spurs basketball Spurs we want to go to because they're woke. They're the woke army.
Yes.
I know. I love it. I love Wemby now. And I love
oh my God, Wemby.
I love Comrade Wemby. I'm very on board for Comrade Wemby.
Either way.
I love his book club that he's started with the team.
What? Yeah. It's
Spurs do
very
things
cool
with the community that other teams don't do. There's no Celtics book club. I can tell you that.
Exactly. Honestly,
okay. Either way, this is episode 24. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host for today, David Lawrence. I'm here once again with Kolya. Kolya, how are things on the Riverwalk?
Oh, it is back to the normal 90-degree stuff. It is hot.
Did you get your 1 week of spring?
Yes, that was last week.
You got to use. So I saw a funny joke that was saying that you already missed your window to wear your cool spring jacket. Everybody did. We missed the window. It's over.
It hit 80 here today. And of course, it was snowing a week ago today.
It is 87 here right now. Yep.
Also with us again is Rugby Julia. Julia, I understand you're joining us from the Hoosier State today.
I am, which would surprise a lot of people considering knowing how much, as a Mystics fan, how much I am not an Indiana Fever fan. So it's very funny that I'm here. I'm doing Oppo research. Since we're talking about that. In fact, I was worried about it because last night was the WNBA draft and I was like, the guys will laugh at you if you start bringing up draft stuff, but we opened with the Spurs. So it's open season. I'm going to start talking.
Side note, nobody seems to know definitively how the nickname Hoosiers came about for our sort of international listeners. People who live in Indiana are called Hoosiers. And there's a great scene in The West Wing where Toby asks someone from Indiana, "What's a Hoosier?" And the guy says, "A Hoosier is someone from Indiana." So
do you know
the snake eats its tail on the Hoosiers all the time?
Do you know the, at least colloquial, I guess it's colloquial, or at least that's what people from Indiana have told me. There is one story. Do you know that story about who's there?
I know 3 of them, and everyone who believes each of those stories is very adamant.
I was going to say is very opposed to the other ones. Okay, absolutely. Right. Then you know them too. International listeners, trust us. It's pedantic.
Trust us. It's a weird country.
It's a weird country.
So, our tradition is to start with some news. Kolya, did you find anything in the barrel for us?
Not much, other than congratulations to Life University women for winning the national championship.
Yeah, it was the NICA, I think, right?
Yeah.
In the quarterfinal.
Possibly the quarterfinal. Or at halftime, at least.
Julia, you said it sounded like you had some bad news for us this week.
I do. Well, I have 2 bits of news, and we're going to start with the one that's a little bit lighter because we're going to ease right into it real quick. The lighter one, I say that in this accent because it's very funny to me and actually to both of my co-hosts, who all 3 of us, well, the two gents, they both live in places that get rather extreme weather, at least sometimes. Where I live in the mid-Atlantic, we really don't. We get really bad storms, but that's about it. Definitely in New England and Texas, they get worse. But you know where they get a lot of storms is the flat Midwest. where the Wallaroos are for Kansas City. Our Australia Wallaroos friends were first accosted by a horrible and unseasonal rainstorm in Sacramento. Those of us who know
Oh
America
yeah.
know that it very rarely rains that much in Northern
I, g-
California at all.
I know we're going to talk about these matches later, but
Yeah,
it was sad. It emptied the place like by
it
necessity.
did.
It really it
I,
put a damper on
it,
the event.
it sucked. And in fact, the article that I'm going to be kind of pulling my information from is from I think it's from the Roar in Australia, maybe. I'm not positive. But they were writing it from an Australian point of view, and they were like, this is crazy. Crazier still is the footage that we got from the Wallaroos camp today, where they were all ushered back into their hotel for a tornado. So we are doing Oppo weather control because
Wow.
as we'll be talking about later, USA will be playing Australia in the Pac-4 in Kansas City. If it goes on a little bit weird, the Australian reporting was suggesting that the weather was going to be bad all week, which is not true. It's supposed to be amazing on Friday. But
Yeah.
Australia, I get it if you're scared. I get it if you're scared. The worst,
In
the,
Australia, all the living things are trying to kill you. Here, it's just the weather.
So that's the joke that I was making with all of my friends. I was like, it's really funny because I do know that Australians hate it when Americans go over there and the first thing, and I know this from experience. They hate it when you go over there and you're just like, have you ever seen a huntsman? And they're like, yes, and it's not here. You're not gonna see it on the street corner. I'm like, okay. And then, but today when I was watching that footage and they were like, they're doing the siren, and it was two of the players talking together. They're like, they're doing the siren, and we all have to like go out in the middle, and we can't be near the windows, and like, I'm really worried. This is like the first time, and I'm just like, I need you to know nothing's gonna happen in America. Nothing is gonna happen. It's almost never anything.
Yeah.
So that said, we're scaring them into beating them, and then, unfortunately, the worst news. I just ran across it a little bit before recording, so I only have brief pieces of information. Quinnipiac is leading the way, and I say that in a bad connotation, leading the way in bumping their rugby program from NCAA, which is what makes the most sense to international years.
Yep.
NCAA is, yeah, it's
I remember
kind of vague from school
like
to school.
3 or 4 years ago when this big moment came when rugby went and got elevated at the college level from club to NCAA and it got
For
recognized.
a very
MLR made a big
small
deal out of it.
portion.
USA
Yep.
Rugby made a big deal out of it. I talked to Alex Magleby on my other show about it, and it was all thumbs up. And this is a crushing bit of that was one step forward and two back. It feels like.
So, in a good way to kind of bumper to our friend and my co-host on another podcast, Hattie, who runs the Rugby History Project, talked in a recent bit about Title IX and its impacts or lack of impacts on women's rugby in America. This is, many people believe, a direct result of the current administration not enforcing Title IX. Extremely brief. For people who aren't familiar, Title IX is a big act that was passed that basically was supposed to be for equality in sports at the
It requires
collegiate
colleges and
level.
universities to spend as much on the women's programs as the men's programs. And
Exactly. So,
it's not that the administration is not enforcing it. It's that they fired everyone who was tasked with
oh,
enforcing it.
absolutely. And I mean, this is really a bigger part of I hate to keep bumping to other things, but on Women's Rugby Treehouse, we did a much bigger bit on it. But this is really along the same lines of the trans ban. They're putting out
Yeah.
decrees and everything, but there's no one to enforce them. Unfortunately, schools, including one like Quinnipiac, are happy to spend less on women's sports, and it's really disappointing. That's just the one university that has done it. We know that it's going to be a domino effect, especially for a school that
Right.
produces Olympians like Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a small rugby school. Not that it should ever happen to any school, but it's a bad omen and a bad portent.
Kolya, I feel like we've been steamrolling you here. Do you anything to add here?
Not much. I heard that they were planning on introducing a men's sport in response, that they're introducing men's distance running,
Yeah,
which
that was
just
what I was reading
flies in the
on.
whole face of how Title IX is supposed to work.
It does, and I hate to be mean about it, but this is a rugby podcast. Like, you think distance running is going to grow faster in America than rugby? Okay. It flies
Well,
in the face of the report that was just released. And I wish I knew who released it, but our friend Wendy at YSC Rugby has the full story. Just put out information that report rather that women's rugby is currently the main driver of rugby growth on the planet.
oh
So,
yeah, that's been true since the Olympics, I thought. But
yep. Oh, absolutely. But it's really nice to see it
well,
studied.
this is episode 24, and I think we've probably led 23 of them with bad news. And this doesn't impact the Eagles in any way, but you know, my own news is I've joined the broadcast team for the Free Jacks radio broadcasts.
Which
I've
we
always
love
been
way more.
yeah, I've always been told I have a face for radio, and so it's finally paid off. The Free Jacks have a brand new partnership with WMEX Radio. So I was on hand this past Saturday for a live broadcast. It was a hoot and super fun, and it was great.
See, we took the idea of face for radio and we said, "Nuh-uh, get on camera."
I actually, one of my bands is called Face for Radio. It's a phrase I've been using for a long time now. In any case, that's as good a place to start as any. I'll rip the band-aid off and mention the new record set by the New England team. This is the first time they've lost their first two matches, and it's worrying. We've gone 1-2 a couple of times before, including last season, if I remember right. But two losses in a 10-game season are much more significant than two losses in a 16-game season. Kolya, what did you see this weekend? Why is New England struggling early?
Well, watching this game was just, I hate to say it, but it was boring. Like, there was about 20 minutes where neither team could actually do anything, and the lineout seemed to just not exist for New England.
Our lineup was better than the previous week.
Is it an overall set piece concern, would you say? Or is it too early to tell?
The first scrum of the game, we blew them up and got a penalty, did nothing with it. It came to nothing. And I was like, oh, this is that time early on when the ref's like, oh, I'm developing this picture
Yeah.
in my head. No, they changed that picture in his head by halftime, and then it was the other way. The momentum was on. Julia, I don't think you actually watched this match, but it was and it was close. We did have a couple chances there at the end, but it was a microcosm of the day. We just couldn't come through. So many simple. It was the same thing as last week. Simple handling errors. The last pass doesn't go to hand. I do want to point out Nathan Salmon. They call him the fish. He's a specimen when you see him right in front of you, and he's got that talent, but I think he's very, very new. He's very, very raw. And in a 10-game season, it's hard to rely on somebody who you need to like gain experience to get you there.
So that's what I wanted to ask you, because it's true that I didn't see this specific match, but I am aware of greater movement within the league and also like greater happenings. Do you think that it's a loss of some of the players that have gone?
Big time. There was a massive turnover. The weirdest
Yeah.
thing of all,
I mean, it was more turnover than I've seen out of the Free Jacks. It felt like in a while for a team that, to me, and from like an outsider, and like the only team I even know a little bit is Old Glory, but
sure. The change
it
of rules
it felt
about
weird.
Canadians suddenly being
Yeah,
international players instead of domestic players, that was
completely host
massive
it.
for us. And then they also lowered the number of international players you can have in general. And it's funny. I was talking to my friend Phil, who does the Jacks Rangers podcast, the sort of a Free Jacks dedicated pod. He's great. I I admit I hadn't realized just how bad an impact this was. Like I realized
Do
on
they
opening
do they
day,
think do they
I was
think
like
that
I
this
was
is
like where's Paula Balacana? Paula Balacana is our leading try scorer, and he's simply not on the roster. And I can't find news of him online. And I was asking friends and people in the stands and stuff, and everyone's like, Paula? Gee, I don't know. And I'm like, this is a key element of three championships in a row. And now I'm learning that some of the players that we had to release ended up homeless. So it's a tough time.
does does it feel like MLR thinks that these changes are going to more it's hard to wrap my mind around because those changes are I understand where the desire is coming from, but the reality of what's on the ground doesn't
I don't
support it.
think I don't think MLR's decision making is the biggest part of this. I think
Okay.
MLR realized our backs are against the wall, and when their backs are against the wall, the World Rugby came to them and said, "You've got a World Cup coming. We're going to tell you how to do this." I think World Rugby said, "This is what MLR is going to be." That's why Anthem exists, and it's only 3 seasons, but that was the precursor of that, and now it's more, and all
I
these
mean, that's remarkable if
changes.
so, because imagine if we found out that okay, never mind. That's loaded. I was gonna say, let's imagine that we found out that World Rugby was putting their thumb on the scale for the Pro Data or for the top 14 or for the
Right.
PWR. But when
But
we
we
when we take the rose-colored glasses off, they probably are, was what I was going to
but
say, is that they probably do.
our men need training wheels, and
Yes.
I think World Rugby are
That was where I
slapping
was
them
gonna
on.
go. That was where I was gonna go is do you feel like this is all kind of to like gingerly hold their hand?
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
I think all of this is because of the World Rugby's involvement in MLR because MLR was in such
felt
dire
the
straits,
concern. Yeah.
down to 6 teams. Like they're sucking oxygen right now. So World Rugby's like, we'll help you. You got to do these things,
I
and
was
I
gonna
think that's
say
what we're
you
saying.
always have to pay.
Um, Well, I already said it. We have a ton of new faces on this team. There's, that critical sense of cohesion that teams need to find success. The truncated season is really worrying me.
Right.
Later in the year, we have 3 games in the row on the road. Like that could spell the end of the run if we haven't already, turned things around before then. Yeah, I already mentioned Nathan Salmon. He's been a standout, but by the way, it was almost certainly the nicest day for a home opener in Free Jacks history. Like because I was in the booth, my son was able to use my ticket and be in the stands with my partner directly across from me in my little radio booth for the first time ever, which was really special.
Was he able to handle the crowd?
He did like it, and
Hey.
the two people on our right, who I've talked to you about, are
Yeah.
our coach friends.
Yeah, your buddies.
Uh, they can't have a lot of F words come into their narration of what they perceive on the field. But Wiley was able to kind of, okay, those guys are just loud. That's okay,
That's all
and
right.
he liked it. When I got out of the booth and got back over there, I said, "Oh, did you like it?" And he said, "It was good. Would have been better if we won." And I was like, "Yes."
No.
So I do want to point out from the other side, Corey Daniel played really well in this match.
Yes. He looked
Two
great.
two tries on the flank.
They're a good
Anything
team.
else you like? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a good team, and they get fired up for us. We've played them, when you look at MLR record books, we've played them, among the most times teams have played because of the turnover and stuff like that. And they've had us. I think they're now 3-1 in the last 4 against us. They've got our number, and we used to make fun of them. We used to call them the little brothers. We used to claim that they stole our red, white, and blue color scheme. I'm kind of like, they're in DC. Of course they're gonna
I
have red,
don't
white.
I don't feel
There's no
like
steal. You can't steal red, white, and blue. We're all in America.
and of all of them, the capital? I don't think
Yeah.
so.
We were cashing in early on the
Yeah.
Patriots and the Revolution and yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
final score in Quincy 21-19. DC go to 1-1 on the year. My beloved Free Jacks fall to the bottom of the table. There were, of course, 2 other matches on the MLR calendar this weekend, including getting their second win, Anthem. A shocking result for me as they defeated the stalwart Seattle Seawolves 34-25. Did either of you catch this one?
So there's 3 things I want to talk about for this game.
Yes.
First, it was a really, really close game for most of it. And then refereeing played a large role.
Tell us more.
Like I mentioned this in the chat, but there is a try nearish the end that brings it out to a 2-score game for Anthem that clearly was a knock-on in goal. Clearly a knock-on in goal.
It wasn't one of those play on calls. Just like
No,
let's just
no,
keep going.
no. So
Okay.
so it's given as a try, or it's given as a try originally, then the replay, or they're showing replays, etc. And the commentators are like, oh, that's a knock on, that's certainly going to be overruled. Seattle challenges it, and they go to the little replay thing that they're doing now, this referee review system. And it all hinges on the question that the referee asks. He does not ask, is this a knock on?
That's so ref too.
Yeah, he does
Is
not
the
ask,
question you ask.
is this a knock on? It is instead, if I'm remembering correctly, like, was this a double movement?
Okay. It's the same as like when
Yes.
it's the same as when the ref asks, like, my on-field decision is XYZ. Is there any reason I
Yes.
shouldn't? And I'm like, but
Yes.
your on-field decision was bad in the first place.
Yes.
By
Yes.
the way,
it was something
as
similar to that, but
a
Yeah.
quick
but
side note, I love that our pod, because we all love language so much, like that's one of the things that irks us the most. Is like
It's insane that we're
because it does
spending
hang.
like 2 or 3 whole minutes where we're just like, and I don't like the way that
Well,
they phrase that
but
question.
it does, like as Kolya said, does hang on the exact verbiage, and so it's
yes.
like
Yes.
like La Rochefoucauld is like,
I mean,
well, is there a world in
it
which
truly
Well,
is. It
well,
truly is along the same lines of it depends on what your definition of
yes,
is.
yes, but the thing
sorry,
is,
Kolya.
in the TMO system, which the rest of professional rugby uses in general, the TMO could say, "Hey, there's a clear knock on,"
Which I don't understand why they can't do more, but whatever.
but they now don't have that for MLR, so the try is awarded, and
Okay.
and and it changed the complexion of the end of the game. Like, Anthem was already winning, and they were in the ascendancy, but
Yeah, you're right. That would piss me off.
I
but
think we've all talked
it
about
was
this.
just
I think this
weird.
move to have the challenge system is totally like a pandering, like,
I
well,
was
more
just gonna say
Americans will understand the challenge.
it's extremely aiming for American sport fans, which is
And I don't
so
blame them for trying
bizarre.
things. I
Oh,
just
Ugh,
this one
I
seems
blame
other
them for this
the
one.
other thing in this match is that Seattle lost their second challenge because they asked to challenge something that is apparently not allowed to be challenged.
Okay, this is new.
So
Why
they
would you
just
not
took it
like give
away
them the grace? Okay.
instead of just saying, "Hey, it's not allowed, save your challenge."
Yeah.
everything we've just talked about sounds more and more NFL, and
It's
I'm
so,
It
I was gonna
it
say, it's so
it is
punitive. It
awful.
feels like the NFL. I
And it
mean,
took away, yeah, sorry, and it took away from what was in general a pretty good game.
it's especially rich when a lot of what they come out and say is the reason why they make these changes because they can't come out and say that like they do but they don't, you know what I mean? Come out and be like this is to attract Americans or whatever, but they often come out and say that this is to speed up the game or to smooth the game. And first of all, rugby in general is one of the sports I watch a lot of sports is one of the sports that to me I don't constantly feel is too slow. So that's not the
Hmm.
problem. I don't feel that scrums slow rugby down. I don't feel like waiting for 3 seconds for a TMO to be like, that was 100% a knock on, slows anything down. I understand, like, we're used to those 10-minute breaks in men's Six Nations where they're studying it from 46 angles. I'm not talking about that. But, like, I don't feel like it will turn Americans away to be like, actually, we like to deliberate for more than 4 seconds. Sorry, this is a stupid rant, and I
Yes.
didn't even see this match, but
Yeah. Yeah. The second thing about this match was Seattle has, or seems to have, a problem, and this has been going on for a few years, playing
Hmm.
away from home.
They are significantly better at home. The stats absolutely bear it out.
And I think part of it is their home field is significantly narrower than every other pitch.
Oh, interesting. I
it's
had never
crazy
heard anyone
that,
say that.
yeah, it's crazy that it's not more
Wow.
standard. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's significantly narrower than the rest.
So it's venti rather than grande.
I was gonna say we're making it
Yes,
7.
yes, yes.
Um,
And
sorry.
and then my third thing was kind of, this was a really enjoyable match.
Yeah.
Like it was actually fun to watch. If you put the other stuff out, it was actually fun to watch. Both teams were playing really, really well, and each had the ascendancy at different parts.
When we learned we
Anthem
were down to
took
6 teams
advantage more
and
than
we were
others.
worried that one of them was Anthem, that was really worrying because it's like, so we have 6 teams, but only 5 are good. I
Mhm.
like that Anthem have 2 wins. I'm always
Yes,
secretly rooting for them.
and the reason it was good was Luke Carty.
Yes. I'm a big fan of Luke
Luke
Hardy.
Carty was immense in this match.
Something you are not something you are accustomed to hearing is what I should say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
it's good for us in the US
Yeah. That's
because
more what I meant.
he's gonna become our 10.
Yeah.
he's absolutely going to. I don't even know if we're going to see AJ again. He's been injured for so long. So
That's kind of like the overall, sorry, that's just kind of the
yeah.
overall thing. And from Bears too, people have been saying so.
Mhm.
Finally, Chicago, as we all suspected, they're looking really strong. They showed it by doubling up the Legion
Who knew?
48 to 24. Either of you, what are your thoughts on this one? I'm not going to lie, I completely missed it. I considered pretending that I had seen it, but I decided against it.
I was
So
also gonna pretend that I saw it. I didn't. Go on.
so this one was fun. It was the start of Sunday Night Rugby
Yes,
for
on
ESPN.
ESPN
So it was on ESPN2. I watched it on ESPN Plus.
with former Mall Street Journal guest Will Hooley.
Yes. Yes, and there were definitely some growing pains for the match was played at an absolute downpour, and apparently they had comms issues at the stadium. So for the first half, it was the Sunday Night Rugby guys, Will Hooley and Mike Petrie, calling the match.
Good.
And
Great. That's fine with me.
it
That must have been cool.
was was good that they've actually got people in that booth who have actually called games before,
Yeah.
which is not a very American thing. A lot of the
No,
times,
don't
the
worry, we're going
people
to
we
Pac 4
have,
next.
yeah,
I've
a
got
lot
a
of the
tiny bit
times
of
we
inside
have
baseball
people in the
too.
booth that
Will Hooley, a great announcer, great on comms, great personality, great player. He has massive fear of doing
They,
comms
yep,
because
that's
he's like,
performance
I'm
anxiety.
commentating on American rugby and I have this thick English accent
Yeah.
and it really worries him. And I like that about him. I like that he's human in
yeah,
that way.
yeah, yeah. I enjoyed his call. I kind of enjoyed it more than when they actually got their actual broadcast team back.
Right. We've had some broadcast issues so far.
Yes,
Something to go around. And by the way,
but
the radio broadcast I was part of, so we were doing it live, but we had to set up this booth so there isn't direct AC. So we had like a massive battery unit, but it was a really nice day out. So the sun was beating down the battery overheated, everything shut down. About 10 minutes in the second half, the broadcast was over.
yeah,
It was so MLR.
yeah, yeah. But the game itself was fun. It started with Chicago beginning how they played against, or how they ended the match against Anthem, with just a complete lack of discipline.
Yeah.
Like there were 2 yellow cards within a few minutes, but Legion was not able to do anything with them. And it was funny that the referee kept calling them kept calling them San Diego.
Which I'm sure the other
Old
team,
habits
or
Yeah.
die
the other
hard.
half that the other half the team
Yes,
rather loves.
That's
yes,
gonna
yes,
happen all year.
Oof.
yes, yes.
I wish I had got my Giltinis shirt when I had a chance.
Yeah,
Now you have to go on eBay and they're
yeah,
like pricey.
yeah. Ruben de Haas played really well. He did go off injured at the end,
I
which
didn't see
is a
that.
little worrying.
Well, have they said anything about it since
They
then?
they have not said anything about it. They
Of
just
course.
made a comment in in commentary that after they subbed him off, he went down the tunnel. But
Yeah,
he
straight
played
to the duck.
he played really well, and he was doing something that I found funny during the first half, where he'd keep sending out a pass and then just like swan diving after he passed and ending up like 5 meters in front of the play,
Classic
and,
scrum
and then
half.
he'd sit there and watch, and then he'd get up and run back.
Really?
Woof.
And this happened
That's
several
very
times
like
in the first half.
that's very like Pee Wee rugby.
Yes,
I
yes.
know.
It was
Like, wow,
it was
did Kolya
it
just
was
call out Ruben de
I
Haas
was
on
gonna say
like a really
your
basic
first
thing?
your first coach yells at you for ball watching. So
yeah. Yeah. It was just funny to watch. Chicago was much more powerful than Legion.
Yeah.
They
I don't know what's
and
up with this Legion team. They're up and
and
down
and
dogs beat militaries. What can you
yeah,
do?
yeah. Oh, speaking of dogs, ESPN did play up Simba the puppy
Good.
bringing out the ball,
Good.
which they should.
Really.
I was
Which
gonna
they
say
should.
They
which
should.
when you want to talk about things that will get new American fans,
Yes.
it's a dog. It's a
Did
dog on
anyone
the
there's a
get
pitch.
dog.
carded and have to go to the doghouse?
In the
Yeah.
pound.
Well, they do have that doghouse for their sin bin.
Right. Yeah. So did anyone
I didn't
have
know
to go
that, and
there?
now I sound stupid.
Several.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But I enjoy Chicago's branding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when I was there for the final, their team wasn't in it, and their fans were all there. All of them were there. It was a great vibe because of the Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, there's anticipation there, and we've talked about it. I think this is the year.
Yeah.
Well, it's
But
still early. After about
one thing else
yeah.
more from that game is I think Chicago might have a fly half controversy on their hands
Oh,
because Chris Hilsenbeck played well. Like he's got some USA caps now,
yep.
but Santiago Videla, the Chilean, came on for his first start or first minutes off the bench for Chicago, and he just lit things up. He
Yeah.
was electric.
If I'm the coach, I'm going with him during the regular season. See what we got.
Yeah. He was absolutely electric. And he apparently had a bunch of offers from like top 14 teams
Oh,
and decided that he wants to stay in the US.
so
Love to
he's
hear.
stupid.
Yeah.
Love to hear.
So after approximately 2.33 rounds, it's amazing to see Anthem tied for tops of the table. The Hounds also on 10 points. The Cal Legion, they're on 7. Seattle and DC are on 4. And New England, cellar dwellers on just a single point. Chicago, however, they appear to be heads and shoulders, above the rest of the comp. After only 2 games, their points differential is a whopping 38. That's an impressive start.
Not great.
Yeah. I wonder what is going to happen with them this week when they are playing a home game on the road.
Oh yeah, the Nashville is
Yes,
it Nashville
it's
time?
it's at Geodis Park in Nashville for
I don't know.
some reason.
Sure.
We probably should have done like a side pod for this. I just don't know what to make of it.
Yeah,
But
like as someone who grew up in the Nashville area, Nashville is or does have a lot of
country
grassroots
music.
rugby.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it
okay.
really does.
Yeah,
Tennessee really does.
Yeah, Nashville,
And yes, lots of Blue Bloods,
and
which I-
East Tennessee especially has a lot of grassroots rugby.
Yep.
But I don't know if you're going to get many people from Nashville wanting to watch the two teams
Yeah.
hit.
Well, we might have to
Knoxville,
start a new segment called Bluegrass Rugby, Bluegrass Roots Rugby, and but anyway, I just want to take a moment to remind all of you that liking and subscribing is the best way to help us grow. If you could tell a friend or two, that would be smashing. We are part of the Global Gainline Network, and we're incredibly grateful for all your ongoing support. We're growing steadily on YouTube, and we remain your one-stop shop for all things rugby. We've got Irish content, South African content. We've got the Women's Treehouse. We've got URC content, and don't forget, Hugh's Top 14 Digest is now its own little title as well. I honestly listen to every single one of the titles I just mentioned to you every single week, and I highly recommend them. Do yourself a favor and check it out. Tell a couple of friends, and we always appreciate your support. So the other American action this weekend was the opening round of the goofily named Pacific Four Series. Our Eagles faced off against a new-look Black Ferns team, and Canada matched up against Australia in a doubleheader in Sacramento. Julia, you were there, right? Tell us about it. It looked cold. The crowd were dressed, autumnally.
It did look cold. I was not there. I will be there this weekend. I will be there this weekend in Kansas City for the doubleheader.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had it backwards. I apologize.
No problem at all. So yep, exactly what you said. We had the opening in Sacramento. I'm thrilled personally. The Pacific Four is here. Obviously, we say this all the time. Like everybody on this podcast understands. We understand the political implications of anybody touring America. We understand. We're gonna move past that though. So we opened in Sacramento, which was very uncharismatically wet. Having a rainstorm, we were joking about it right before we hit record. It's very uncharacteristic in most of California, not all. California is also very agricultural. It's also a huge state. But Northern California and Southern California
is a cow town, they say.
Cowtown, yeah, very dusty. I have spent time for work out in Sacramento. And another thing for international, and I pissed and moaned about this on the Women's Rugby Treehouse. I think that they did a huge disservice of telling people that it's Sacramento. I understand that that's where you played, but if you had said San Francisco, it would have given it more weight. It wouldn't sound like we sent you to the middle of nowhere. I've been reading a lot of international things where it's like, where are they going? Why are they going to Sacramento and Kansas City?
I
first of all, keep
this,
Kansas City out of your mouth.
Especially in the 7 Series. Like, so the 7 Series,
when
they told the players, we're coming to New York, they were like, whoa, New York. Wow, the most metropolitan city in like the world. Oh no, by the way, you're going to be next to a little river in New Jersey.
And it's going to be freezing because it's early March.
It's going to be freezing. Same thing. Oh, you're going to be in California in the USA. Oh, by the way, Sacramento. It's
jokingly enough. Jokingly enough. Yeah, no. So it is. Luckily, of course, the 4 teams that are there, well, 3, obviously, everybody who's from America understands that Sacramento it's San Francisco. Sacramento is the capital of the state. It's San Francisco, though. So that was great. San Francisco is a great area. I'm glad I got to go see it. They are now all in Kansas City already. And my one piece of news that I had mentioned before is that now we are trying to psych out the Wallaroos by turning on the weather machine, as Congress said that we have. Turning on the weather machine, scaring the Wallaroos. It's going to be the greatest.
I wish our government was that interested in rugby.
I really wish that. So the thing is like, we could joke about it because all 3 of us are victims of this government. I do like that, recently they've like completely defunded and fired everybody from NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, does a lot of our weather. Got rid of a lot of the EPA, which does a lot of weather as well. So really anything could happen, but jokes aside, it's very funny, for international listeners, especially in Kansas City, Missouri, mostly in Kansas. Of course, you have heard of Wizard of Oz. It is a very, tornado prone place. It's not exactly Tornado Alley, but it's not far away. So it's very funny that everybody was very earnestly freaking out when I was watching it and I was just like, oh, it's not going to hit you. I'm just letting you know, it's not going to hit you. You're fine. And they're all very freaking out. So it's funny.
There's a certain area that gets hit by tornadoes.
Exactly. And if you're outside of that one, you are going to get...
I was just rereading a Carl Hiaasen novel. All of his books are set in Florida. And he was talking about tornadoes and hurricanes. And he said, hurricanes are just eviction notices from God.
They are. I frequent a subreddit on Reddit that I enjoy a lot, which is how is it living there? And it's usually places that are a little bit more remote or a little less traveled. But recently one person circled all of the Florida Keys and was like, what's it like living here? And somebody just hurricane. Hurricane. It's just hurricane. All that happens there is hurricane.
It's great.
Yeah.
Until the hurricane, it's amazing. It's about 4 days between
every hurricane. A lot of
hurricane.
homeschoolers, so you don't have to really see too many people.
A lot of homeschoolers, a lot of boat. Do you like boat? You're getting on a boat. I do love boat. I know. Well, you're New England. But I was going to go back to the rugby. What were you going to say?
No, I'm just trying to keep the truck moving here.
Oh,
As
sure.
as this is an American show, we're going to concentrate on the Eagles fixture.
Mm,
I feel sure that we all
yes.
watched the other one, but
Yes.
we'll certainly touch on it.
But we'll
But as
stick
Julia
to,
mentioned, the USA, it was sad. We lost 15 to
yeah.
45, a full
Yep.
triple up. And after a quick start, it was a painful way to see the match unfold. I really had serious hope for a while there. So the final score lines, it feels
Here's
rough. Kolya, I'm going to start with you. What did our Eagles do wrong against New Zealand?
Uh, so it was close for the first half,
Yeah, I
and
disagree
and
with that it
and
was that painful. Our first half was
yeah,
great.
yeah. The first half was really good. What what seemed to get us was lack of depth in the second
Hmm.
half,
Yeah.
Okay.
and I don't know if y'all agree with this, but
Because of our young roster?
yeah,
That was where
yeah,
I was going to
yeah,
go. I'll
yeah.
explain that in a sec when Nicolia finishes.
Our new cap fly half Vogel was completely anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do, and I actually was going to touch on Vogel in the other direction, which was that I feel like she played with more confidence than you would expect from a 19-year-old.
She looked
Um,
very confident. I
Yeah, she
she
liked
looked
looked
her
confident, but
attitude.
she just didn't do anything.
right,
Right.
and so that was the other thing was that I do feel that, and this is something that you sometimes encounter with both star athletes and the other side of it where the athlete maybe peters out. I'm not ready to call it yet. I've seen her
Yeah.
perform once really
Yes. No.
seriously. But that
Well,
said,
I want to stick with Kolya.
oh,
What did our Eagles do wrong? And Julia, I'm going to get to you in just a
no, no,
sec
no,
for the
absolutely.
opposite.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The biggest thing was just a lack of depth and
Yeah,
some aimless kicking.
Hmm.
yeah.
And
From the same.
I know we talked about this last week, or two things. A, I want to see Bargel and Vogel together the
Hmm.
rest of the Pac four
Yes.
Okay.
because I want to see a
That makes me
partnership
sad. I
form.
love Olivia Ortiz.
Yes. Yeah. And I
We all
thought
do.
Bargel played really well first
Yeah.
half.
Yeah.
But the other thing was that they or we did a lot of just kind of mindless kicking,
Hmm. Absolutely.
and
It looked like kicking
and
without purpose. It looked like
yes,
kicking,
yes,
and we've kicked it. And now what?
and I
It,
really don't understand Lev Kelter at 15 after what we talked about last week.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Like we
agreed.
thought maybe she's being put there because of a or of them expecting a certain type of kicking game,
Yeah.
and it as the game played out, it made no sense.
Yeah,
Which I
it's not
think
her best. It's not her best spot. Julia, did we just run out of gas? Like it was like we've both kind of implied already. It was a weird game. Like it didn't
it
feel like a
was
blowout, but then that when I look up at the scoreline, that's kind of what it was.
it was weird. Yes, a blowout. I mean, also we do need to always caveat, especially with the Pacific Forum, always careful to say like that's New Zealand. Let's chill.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
New Zealand. But
But this was a great
this was
opportunity. This was an
this was
incredible
right.
opportunity, and we looked so good so early.
So this is where I was going to go because you're absolutely right. It was a good opportunity, and I really think, and I really hope that everybody is wrong, and there's absolutely no weather on Friday because I think that Friday is going to be the real test
Mm.
of the USA team. I think that Australia has always been the one target for Pacific Four. In terms of our performance and how it looked, and especially how we rostered, I've had a lot of time to think about it since the first time we talked about it. And I think that it's a few things. But I
So,
think
so
they
I do want to bring you back. The initial question was, did we run out of gas? Collier kind of implied that, like that, and
yeah,
that's what it looked like to
yeah.
me.
That's fair. No, all I was going to go, and that was where I
Yeah,
was going
yeah,
to dovetail, was that the running out of gas, I feel, we know Jack Hanratty is a sevens coach. We also know that several sevens players have come into the mix, not because of him, but because of the way that we work on USA Rugby.
sure.
And sevens players say it a lot. And in fact, a few sevens players that we have on this team right now have said it's it's a steep slope between 14 minutes and 80 minutes.
Mm.
Yes, of course, obviously sevens is way, way more
Yeah,
tiring on the body than it is on pretty much any position that you could play in 15s. Absolutely. However, There is more to keeping your energy and stamina up than just the number of minutes. And so, of course, if you're young and you've only played sevens, you probably do not have the kind of energy management that you need. And
It's
when
like
you
calories. It's not the calories, it's the type of
It's
calories.
the type of calories, but that's absolutely right. Some can power you for 5 minutes, some can power you for 50 minutes.
Right.
Absolutely. And on top of all of this, unfortunately, it was quite a shaken up roster. When you have both things at once, that's a lot. Most of these, any of the players that are not in the PWR have not played 15s really since the World Cup. Yes, a lot of them have been competing in sevens, and that's great. But I kind of expected this to be a lower energy affair. It really sucks. It really sucks that we opened it against New Zealand, but this is the great news about women's rugby globally. When I look at Canada, I don't want to start with them either. I wish we could just play Australia 3 times, but we
Oh,
can't. Um,
I I have a couple things to say about Canada very shortly.
yeah,
Col
absolutely.
Kolya, any standout performances from our Eagles for you? Any new faces that sort of caught your eye?
My main standout in the first half was Barjel.
Great. I agree. You're gonna
Yeah,
you're gonna make a lot of people happy. She's also
yeah,
a fan favorite.
yeah.
I'm thrilled with that too, to be honest. It's really great to have. And I do know, and it's totally fair for a lot of USA rugby heads to be saying that like Bargel is the future. I would be fine if it is. I'd be sad if there's no Olivia Ortiz, but I'd be fine if it's Cash Bargel, man.
Mhm.
So
Kolya, any
I
others?
hope it's both.
That was the main one that stood out.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vogel
Erica
is brave
Joseph
still. I
Cersei,
understand.
this was her debut as captain, right? Or as solo captain. And I mean, she was amazing. She brought that energy. We talked about it at the
She's so
beginning of the game.
inspiring.
What
She
what
did that. Like there's an aura about her, but then we just fall
well,
off.
the thing that threw me with her being captain, was
Mm,
during the match, it looked like Hope Rogers was talking to the ref more than her.
Yep. So that's
great point.
and I have been thinking about that as well. And I am really willing to bet that it is and this isn't anything against her. Again, it makes my entire life that EJS is captain. It means so much to me, and I really hope, obviously I want Kate to feel better, but Kate is gonna retire, and I would love it to be Gerald Cersei if it is. However, if you have spent your entire career very religiously not talking to the ref because it's not your fucking job,
Mhm.
it's hard to remember to talk to the ref.
Yes.
Yeah. And Hope Rogers has been around so long, she's just like, I mean, what are you gonna do? You gonna yell at me? You're
Yeah.
not gonna yell at
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Well, this is the handoff, right? We have like a year period. It's the handoff.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
and if you want it and not want, every team has to do it. If you have to cycle through new, this is when you would do it. I said it about the Six Nations as well when I've been commenting on it for Rugby Treehouse. If you are going to shake a bunch of things up and completely change um, the personality of your team, which is what they have suggested, especially post last match, they have been saying that we are intending to change the tone of USA women's rugby. Now's when you do it. So okay. I think we're gonna learn a lot. Unfortunately, until we record next week, I think we're gonna learn a lot on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, round two is in Kansas City. Features the Eagles versus Australia. We really have to view this as an opportunity.
I am hoping to get
But
David level quality footage for you guys. I got a little knockoff GoPro. It's not a real one, but
well,
it's a knockoff.
I love our Eagles, but I'm sorry, Eagles versus Australia. That's the warm-up match for Canada versus New Zealand.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely it is.
Yes.
Um,
Julia, give us your predictions, and are you risking marital turmoil by being there in person?
well, I'm thrilled because I, this is so stupid. Um, I I'm getting old and it's getting harder late at night. And so on my phone it kept telling me that I had a 6:15 p.m. start for for New Zealand Canada and then a 9 p.m. start for USA Canada or USA Australia and I was like, "Oh, no, it's an hour behind." So it's great. It's going to be
Oh,
great. I am stoked. It unfortunately New Zealand Canada is going to be the curtain raiser. To me, they're both going to be fantastic. Am I in trouble? No, because I offered to not do it, and then because my wife is a literal angel, she listed my mom to guilt me to go because I never take trips for myself. And I was like, do you
Oh,
remember?
there you
Which
go.
is true. Okay, and whatever. Thank you to my wife who has gone on several overnight trips for tattoos where she has to sit for 2 days. Because apparently that very small, like doesn't even affect my life thing gave me a bunch of good girl points. And I got to cash in my good girl points to go to Kansas City. Um, I am
Kolya, do you
super.
have any tattoos?
Kolya,
I
do you have any good girl points?
I do not have any tattoos yet.
See, you got to cash in your good dude points.
Yeah. It seems expensive.
It
Eh.
is, and it absolutely is. It's definitely, and I say this as I have. I don't know if you guys caught up, but World Rugby Shop was doing a huge dump on all of their World Cup jerseys, and I got 3 on the super cheap. And I'm like, are you gonna get here in time for me to leave? Please, please get here. Yeah. So.
Okay, I've decided
Oh,
that
my
I need to
predictions.
get.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I
Yes.
have to give my predictions. I think that Canada will edge out New Zealand after watching them perform against us. Um,
As
I,
do I.
I think New Zealand is, and New Zealand is doing what we're doing, to be fair. They are also new
New
look.
Zealand clearly are like, we're just gonna see. We're just gonna see what
We're,
happens.
I genuinely think Whitney Hansen is going to be a completely new era. I think that she is on purpose pivoting away from a lot of things that
Yeah.
characterized the Black Ferns for a long time.
And I'm a little
Um,
worried about Australia. They seem befuddled.
So Australia, I really feel for. Like, I can't imagine the joy of having Joe Yap be your coach and then she leaves. That sucks.
Right?
The new coach was an assistant, so it's not somebody foreign to them. It's nobody that I'm knocking. However, definitely doesn't carry the same gravitas. And then also, just like we are, they are blooding a lot quickly. I think that this is a chance for us. I genuinely do think that we might edge it out. I'm excited. I think they could do it.
Kolya, final thoughts? I think you're muted.
I'm gonna pick USA by 6.
I like
Yeah.
that. I'm very excited. I'm very excited
I
to text
also
our
think
group chat a little
I
bit
see it
drunk.
close. I'm saying USA 15, Australia 14, a squeaker. I think Canada.
Ooh,
I think they
I'd love that.
they look so good. I think Canada 32, New Zealand 18 is my prediction. I think Canada might win this whole tournament.
That would be a fantastic weekend for me. I'm taking that. I'm actually going to keep repeating that to myself every night when I'm going to
So
sleep.
it's not American, but are y'all watching the Women's Six Nations? It was an amazing
I am, of course.
opening round.
I,
Kolya,
I was
any
not able to
thoughts?
catch any because
No
I
worries.
Oh,
I'm
I was
but
out
I'm
of
happy
town.
to
Kolya, so
regale you with
you're rooting for Wales, yeah?
Yes.
good
Yeah, and
boy.
Julia. So y'all were close. I thought Wales looked much better than I expected,
I will give very, very brief. I've been watching a
especially
lot
without
of.
Alcal.
Yep, I've been watching a lot of social media since then. I will say I have never seen so many Wales players come out like on it seems like on their own accord and be like, this feels different than anything we've ever had before.
Yeah,
I'm thrilled. I really hope that it's the start of a new era. It sounds like it is. That's great. My heart is breaking for Scotland, man.
mm, with the
Uh,
injuries.
with the injury, I mean, they didn't have Evie for the whole competition, and now they're gonna miss Emma Orr, who
What? What?
Emma Orr tore her ACL in the Wales
What?
game. Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah,
I
that's the sound all of SRU made.
I
Um,
I didn't
so
see.
a Celtic Challenge player has been called up, which I'm stoked for. Awesome. Yeah. So the gods gave Scotland Meryl Smith back, which was great, and then took Emma away.
I spent like 10 minutes talking about Emma Orr with
Yeah,
Rachel
I know.
Law. Uh,
Yeah. As everybody has pointed out,
uh,
when the injury was announced, it was announced officially yesterday that they did the imaging and it is ACL. Yeah, no, we were all holding off. We all hoped sprain. Um, and as somebody pointed out, like Emma Orr is usually like one of the first players on everybody's fantasy sheet.
yeah, of course. Um, uh, that's rough. Okay. Well, this has been an amazing episode. Uh, I think we've actually in a
Nailed
group
it.
represented American rugby progress? Maybe.
Well, there is one more thing to talk about, though.
Oh yes.
Oh, little grassroots.
We're gonna end on some tiny comedy.
So,
Oh, but by the way, before we get to the grassroots, this is what I meant to interject there.
I love that you call this grassroots.
The way we know that women's sports are coming on
Making
par
it.
with men's sports is I'm this close to hating the Red Roses as much as I hate England men.
Wow. All you have to do is hang out with me for 0.3 more seconds, and I will fix that. All three of us on this podcast. In fact, what's very funny to me, and I will point this out, the one show Global Gain Line doesn't have as an England show.
That's right. And I'm leaving the day we get one. So sorry, Kolya, go ahead.
Never.
so college rugby is coming to the end of its both 7s and 15 seasons. National Collegiate Rugby has their National 7s in 2 weeks. There are still 18 automatic bids up for grabs this week. So lots of collegiate rugby 7s going on this weekend. The other is that our other thing, the D1A College Rugby Association, has advanced to the quarterfinals, where we have Cal versus BYU in what is a big Western U.S. matchup between two.
I was going to say that's quite a budding rivalry.
Powerhouses.
Between the wooden sandals and the Mormons.
Yeah. The Arizona Wildcats versus the St. Mary's Gales. I don't know much about either of those two.
St. Mary's. Our St. Mary's? That's fantastic.
St. Mary's, Maryland, isn't it?
No. This is the
Oh.
California one.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was like, what did
this
St.
is the
Mary's
California
do?
St.
Yeah.
Mary.
Okay.
She's
Yeah.
fucking everywhere.
She gets around.
Yeah. Life in Lindenwood.
I've heard that.
Life in Lindenwood.
Expected.
Of course.
That's a preview
Expected.
of the final.
Yep.
And one that I'm excited for, Army Navy.
Of
I
course.
is the other
love
one.
any Army Navy game. I will watch. I love it. The
right.
atmosphere is unbeatable. It approaches a Kenyan level, like audience participation.
That's true.
It's the best thing we have in this country.
It's true. We gave a bunch of people who are usually walking around with guns a rivalry.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That's
they
very
get to hit
American.
each other
Everyone,
all the time.
all of our international listeners will love that. They
Yeah.
let their militaries fight? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that they
It's
do
great.
that in the
It's
UK,
doing
for
great
sure.
for morale.
The RAF play against the regular army in the UK and stuff. Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely. The armed forces
Yeah.
ball. Yeah, absolutely. I will end on only because Kolya reminded me and I felt bad for not doing it. WER very briefly put up their jerseys for sale for next season, and they
Yes,
were
tell
definitely
us.
designed. They were definitely designed by AI, and they were terrible. And
Oh,
they're
no.
definitely remaking them. They were
The
100%.
Denver Onyx one was so
The Denver Onyx one was
bad.
So
And
we
side
should
note,
end there.
the jerseys were great. They were
No.
our logos were already good. We didn't
There
need
were
to change.
the
anything.
logos. The logos are
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
The jerseys were not.
No,
You're
that's true.
absolutely right. I will say this. So the way
We don't
that this
need to mess with
happened
the logos.
is that the Denver Onyx fans lost it in the comments, which was very funny. You won't be able to see it. Hopefully they nixed it from all of the internet, which doesn't exist. But hopefully it's completely gone, because what it was a bunch of little Colorado flags, which I learned by sending it to a bunch of my international friends. It turns out abroad they do not know what state flags look like. So already it looked like a bunch of little C's, which is the Colorado state flag. Also, it wasn't in the Colorado state flag colors. It was grayscale, so it didn't translate at all.
Yeah, it was so
It was
bad.
pink. It was so bad. And worst thing of all, and I'm saying this just so people don't do this again, if you're using curved designs, you can't have two C's right where the nipples are. You can't do it.
To be fair, the intern who had just been given this
Yeah, I was
job
gonna say.
as she graduated from Mount Holyoke, like
Exactly. First of all, she's from Life University, because it's jobs for boys, jobs for babes, jobs for babes. It's some Lindenwood intern who's doing doing graphic design as her passion. No, I don't know how it happened. I really do think that it might have been AI, which is like
Oh,
so tone deaf. I don't
classic.
I don't know how you did that.
Today's the
Um,
day that we refer to as an AI boogaboo as classic.
classic. Classic USA Rugby. So all that said, we are excited to at another time announce the WER jerseys.
Kolya, what are you looking forward to next weekend? What's on your rugby radar?
Uh,
Friday
Pac
night.
Pac 4, yeah, Pac 4, and then I want to see if more than 100 people go to this Nashville game.
Yeah.
I am now really curious. Now I'm really excited to hear about it. Especially
Julia, same question. What's on your rugby radar this coming weekend?
being a Virginian, it would really warm my heart if Tennessee got got the same stuff as we do up here in the DC area.
Wait. What's the relationship between Virginia and Tennessee? Why do you care about them?
They're our cousin. They're our Appalachian cousin. We're
Yes.
right across the mountains from each other. We border each other,
Yeah.
and especially down in the
It's like
south,
the Pacific Four. We share a massive boundary.
we share a huge mountain range. That is literally that is literally from Scotland and Wales. You're welcome.
Yes.
Um, so yes, I am excited about that now that Kolya has told me. Obviously, I'm super stoked to be at Kansas City. Kind of easy.
That's really
And
cool.
then yeah, I'm super excited about that. And then I'm also super excited because a friend of mine has asked if I will watch some of the Rugby Europe Championship with her on Saturday
Oh,
morning, and I'm going to see if I can cram it in with the Six
yeah.
Nations being in a taxi to MCI Kansas City International Airport. I
I've
forget
been
what MCI stands for,
I've been
but
tempted to send you a little screen caps of all the little other games I'm watching, like the
I
women's
hope so.
European games. There's cool stuff happening
That'd
for
be
sure.
fantastic. It would. And this weekend, well, so just to end it on a happier note, if you are looking for even more rugby, the biggest, unfortunately, much like many other competitions, the REC, the Rugby Europe Championship, isn't necessarily super heavily contested right now. But the two teams that are basically vying to break into Six Nations level are Spain and the Netherlands for women, and they play this weekend for probably the championship. It's points
Well, this
based.
has been
There's no, yeah.
fantastic. This has been possibly my favorite Wall Street Journal episode ever. I feel like every single time we get together, it gets better and better. Maybe that doesn't reflect the performance of our Eagles, but you know what? We've got the women, and so it'll always be good. Um,
Maybe it's how good a host you are.
yeah, for
Deal with it.
sure.
Deal with it. I
Anyway,
like putting you on the spot with compliments.
I do like it. Thank you. To all our friends across the globe, thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends about us. Talk to you soon and be well.